Hey everybody, welcome to Hunter Gatherer channel, and it's June 16th. It's a Wednesday. It's about 1 o'clock, and my son Ben came over, told me recently that he wanted to get in the bees. It's been years since he's been in the bees. He's been in a couple of different times and just trying to build his confidence up, and he's interested in them, so I said let's give it a shot. So today we're gonna go out there. We're just getting some gear on, making sure everybody has some protective clothing so we don't get stung, and that way you can be a little bit more confident when you're not getting stung and nervous about that. I've had different people ask me about what kind of fuel to use in your smoker. And this is a smoker I've had for a while. Probably I'm going to clean it up a little bit, but it's got the bellows in there to push the oxygen in to keep it burning, and nothing fancy. I've used many different things for fuel, and in different states there's different fuel that you can get for free. Down south, I know when we lived down there was pine needles everywhere. That was super easy to get that, and you actually could buy bales of it if you didn't want to pick it up yourself. Up north, I'm in New York State, you don't have that option. There's not as many pine needles. I've used some pine cone in there and some other stuff, and it's nice to use things that are natural. My nephew's a dairy farmer, so balance twine was something that I could get really easily and for free. So I would just wrap it up in a really tight ball and wrap a string around it, something that would just fit into the smoker. And once you got a fire going, shove that down in there, and that would work pretty good. It would burn for a long time, but it wasn't a super natural smoke smell. So this is what I have back here. At any Tractor Supply is what we have, but I know there's like Farm and Fleet and different places like that, or a lot of different kind of pet stores maybe. This is some cedar bedding, and that's what I use. Just cedar chips. That's what I use to start my smoker. So I put a bunch of that in there, and then I get it started, and then I take this is pelletized bedding for horses from Tractor Supply, and I think each of these was like a $5 bag. And but you can use just any kind of wood pellets that you want to, but that's what this is, and it just smells like it's pine, and this is cedar, so it just smells like a little campfire going on, and it's chemical free or whatever. So this is what I use for my smoker. I start with the cedar, and then I pile a bunch of this on after we get it going, and I just try to make sure I keep it going once in a while. It doesn't burn real quick. The more of the pellets you have in there, the better. The cedar definitely burns faster. But that's what I use for my fuel for my smoker. So the good thing is, like, the entrance is in the front. We want to stay away from the entrance. So this box, you guys have seen, this one had a laying worker bee, and the last video that I did with this box, I took the box and I took it on the hill behind me, and I shook out all the bees, and I brought it back, put different frames in, got rid of the ones that had 3 or 4 eggs in it, and all the cells, and I came back like 4 days later, off camera, got into it, and there was still a laying worker in there. So what I think happened is I kind of felt bad with the bees, and I went up there and I had brought some of them down by hand that had gotten onto my glove, and I brought them down and shook them out in the lawn down here over on the end, and they all made it back in the box. And anyway, so I took them in the other direction and shook them all out the other day, about 3 days ago, and I did not bring any of them back. I wasn't feeling guilty anymore, and but I had put a frame in here that had some queen cells started that I had gotten from a different box that I'd put the frame of eggs in there, thinking that there wasn't a queen, because I hadn't seen my virgin queen return yet, and it'd been a while, and I hadn't seen anything in there, and no eggs, no anything, so I gave them a frame of eggs from a different colony. They started making a queen cell in there, a few of them, but I found the queen in there days later, so I took that frame out of there that they had started and I put it in here. And this colony the other day when I was in there, they had finished the queen cells. So we're gonna get in here, we're gonna check to see how the queen cells are doing, and we're gonna see if the laying worker is back. I'm gonna take this lid off. I'm gonna take the inner cover off. And so most of the time I try to open it like if I'm back here, like if I'm on this side, I would open it to this side. Yeah. It's kind of away from me a little bit. You know what this is? You remember what the name of it is?
I don't remember the name of that.
Propolis. Some say propolis, some say propolis. Potato, potato. So, on first inspection, there's a good amount of bees in here. Now this was two deeps here, so there should be quite a few bees. Just saw a drone pop down in there.
I've seen a lot of drones.
And I reduced it from the 2 boxes down to the 1. Now today it's 65 degrees out or so. Not much wind, which is good, but it's not super warm, but it's warm enough to be in here, and it's not supposed to rain or anything, so the bees should be out working pretty well, and so there should be about half the amount of bees in here. And I'm gonna go to this 3rd frame in because it's not drawn out yet, and that'll keep us from scraping anything. But you can see they're really starting to draw it out pretty well, and they got a little bit of nectar in a couple of them. And this is one of those frames that I had put a bunch of wax on, and they're really doing good working at it. That's just a couple of days ago that I put in there, and they're working all these other ones out too. Look at that, Ben. Look at all that pollen on that one. See, it's really doing well. So what I want to do is get one of these frames. I think this next frame looks like it's drawn out pretty well to where maybe they might be laying, or if that laying worker is in. Now there's a bunch of eggs in this, and I gotta try to remember. You see all the eggs in there, Ben? There's some in the dead center, like they look like little pieces of rice.
Yep,
every once in a while I see one that's perfect, and you think, okay, there's a laying queen, and then you look, and then there's 3 in the next one. So what we might do is just go through this. Now, some of these frames were the ones that I took out the first time that I found the laying worker, and so some of these eggs could be ones that were like 5 or 6 days away from bees that just were laid, but they weren't going to hatch or produce anything. So I wish I would have been able to write something on them so I knew if they were ones that I put in there or if they were the ones that they're laying now. So that's the one confusing thing about this situation. I won't know that. That's probably a rookie error on my part. There's a bunch of eggs in this, but like I said, that's what I had done, so it's hard to tell if they're old eggs or fresh eggs. This is the frame that I put in that they had started queen cells on, and that these girls finished them. So on this side, you're not going to see. You see larvae in there. Can you see them? They're like a little white.
Oh, they're not happy.
You see where I just blew the bees away? There's like white spots. That's larva. Larvae, I guess, is the plural. But on this side, you see? See those things protruding?
Yeah.
Those are queen cells. Yep. So this is that frame. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10. Some of them aren't very good. You can see they're hardly protruding. and some of them are a little bit better. Like that bottom one is probably the best one. So we have queen cells in there.
Do they usually make that many?
Well, if they have eggs that are early enough, they'll go for it, and that's what I mean. They really need a queen, and so that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they probably just put so many there because they don't have one. I thought I heard of queen just now, but it's not.
Yeah, like you heard piping,
Yeah.
and that's a cool thing. But I might have had just a bee pinched by my finger a little bit. And there's a lot of.
I've seen like 3 or 4 drones on all of these frames.
Yeah, well, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, just in the top section alone right there. So, but I don't know if you on the bottom. Anyway, well, like I said, I don't think we're gonna find a queen, because of the situation.
Right. I don't think so.
So.
Don't they usually like do something about the other queen cells in some hatches?
Yeah, when one of
Well,
these
the queen
hatches, then that virgin queen will run around and sting any other queen cell she finds to kill them, because she wants to be the queen. Yeah, it happens. I didn't mean that. So, and then we got this is our honey frame on the outside that it's honey, bunch of pollen, and then there's some larvae, and I think a lot of that is going to be drones because it's from that laying worker. Anyway, we're just going to put this back together. I can't say for certain if I got rid of that worker, that laying worker, the last time I shook, because there are all those eggs in there, but I think they're from the previous time when I found them the first time. So what I did is I took the boxes, split them, put frames that hadn't been laid into the box, and then once I found it the second time, I took all the frames that I had put in there and I put all the other ones that were in there already the previous time and put them back in. So it's hard for me to tell if those eggs are all new from the worker, the lane worker this time around, or if it was the eggs from the previous time.
That one's stuck.
I'm figuring I'm just gonna let these girls do what they're doing, and I'm gonna come back in right at the end of the month, or maybe the beginning of July, just to check. The queen should be the virgin queen should emerge and go get mated and be laying by that time. So that's the game plan on that hive. I'm gonna let them just do their thing. They've got some work to do, so. Alright, so you see this one, it's reversed. So when I had I did it last year. I had some that were really close together, so I had them do their entrances different. The problem with it is that, man, I get right up close to it. When I'm working here, the other day I got stung in the shin. I forget that it's open that way, so I was like blocking them right off.
This one too?
Yeah. That's fine. Got it? Yeah. You can set it there. That's fine. Alright. So, what we're looking for on this one is that we're going to just see if we can find eggs. See how they're building out. These single boxes, we want to put a second box on at some point. But right now, just want to see, we want about at least 8 of the frames fully drawn out, and the other one started. Now, from what I can tell, these two look like they're not all the way drawn out yet. and these two look like they're not all the way drawn out yet, so we're really not that far.
So what do you mean by drawn out?
Drawn out meaning, remember when we pulled that other frame up, you could see like all the way down at the bottom, and then at the top there was wax starting to come out. They were starting to draw comb out, is what they call it. So, like in here. And now what I do is I kind of pry that way and pry this way, give yourself some room. Try to get it all to move, and that propolis is holding them in place. So you got that open, and then I open this up a little bit too. Okay? And then there's multiple ways to do it. You can just get in there with your fingers and grab it. When you have this tool, it's kind of nice because you can hook in there and pull it up some for you.
Yeah.
So you can get a hold of it a little bit better. And then when you pull it up, it's best to have a hand on both sides and pull straight out. Try not to angle. Now you see this. That's what you say they're starting to draw it out, right? They're definitely doing something. On this side, they're just wanting to get started, but they're not very far. So really, you know we're not going to throw another box on it. These two were drawn all the way out. They've got honey and stuff on them. Honey, pollen, whatever. This one.
This one doing okay?
No, I don't think so. He probably got squished on accident. So this one they're putting, yeah, they're drawing it out. They, it's an older frame, but they are working on the top part that was not drawn before. And if you look, see the shiny stuff in there? That's all nectar. Yeah. So there's no eggs in this one. Let's see what we got on this. See nectar, and I don't see any
So when
eggs
they've got
yet.
their heads dunked in the nectar there, that's when they're making honey, right?
Yeah, or they're eating some of it. When they get that, when you smoke them, they go and eat honey. Sometimes, yeah, and it also like if they were actually in a forest fire, they would want to eat as much of it as they can, so that when they get to the new location, that if they have to abandon the hive, they've got all that honey in them, so that they can make wax when they get there,
Right.
and build a new home. All right, so now we're getting into the center here, where she's probably starting to lay, but
Is that one right there?
I don't see her.
That's,
I see drones.
it looked like that one was.
Just because it was backed in? Yeah, she's just sitting.
I did it a couple times.
Yeah. I'm not seeing any eggs yet.
That one right there is very cool.
It might just be a small one too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we see some laid. I know I saw her in here the other day, so it seems like she should be far along enough to start laying, but I could be wrong. Or she's just lazy. I don't think that's the case. So this one's got some honey on it. So, yeah. And see that down at the bottom? That's pollen, like the yellows and the browns.
A bit wet compared to some of the other pollen I saw.
Yeah.
They put nectar in there too.
Sometimes they put a little bit of stuff in. They make like what they call bee bread with it. Okay, I'm not finding anything yet, which isn't cool. Thought she would have been laying. They're building that up. This is the one I found her the other day, and she was all the way on the outside. I'm just kind of putting these in order, and I'm going to put them back in where they were. I'm just going to pry this out. Just to, they're not doing anything with these ones yet.
You think if you put them in between the drawn out ones, they might?
They might, but really the thing is they don't have that many bees to where they're doing much.
Yeah. You can kind of working on the pollen on
Yeah.
that side.
Yeah, they're drawing that out. They're doing good.
So she was on this outside when I saw her the
What
last time.
happened to your finger?
It's I think in the shop. Yeah, it is nice to have. It only fits like 3 of them on it, but it's nice still. Well, I'm making sure that they're sitting on the bars on there. This is all nectar. This side is pretty much all nectar also.
I feel like drinking on this side.
There she is.
Oh wow.
You see her?
Yeah, I see it. I didn't know they could get that long.
Yeah. So it seems like she should be laying. She looks like she's ready to start laying, but
Maybe she's not. Is the red for the larva?
yeah. I'm gonna go show her to the camera real quick. She's walking along the bottom right now. Oh, she just went up on. See if I can get her in frame. Where'd she go? She's right in the center now. It's hard to see this little screen. Oh, she's all the way on the bottom now. She's moving too fast for me to pay attention. She's working her way up. So anyway, that queen is a nice looking queen. I just don't see any eggs yet, but let me close her back up. Get her back home.
I feel like she might still have
She looks pretty good.
She's
So,
very healthy.
yeah. So we found the queen. We know she's there. So now it's just let them do their thing, and she should start laying here soon. Put everything back in the box. Now,
Put them in the same order.
yep, try to put them back in the same way. My game plan for this, you gonna put them back in? You of them anyways? It's this one right here. My game plan for the first hive we got into, the one that had the laying worker, is that if by the end of the month, if we don't have a queen laying in there, and that, or at least see a queen has emerged and she's in there in the box and she's been mated or she's working on that, if I don't find that to be the case, what I'm probably going to do is put some newspaper down on top of this box and add that box on top of this box. It'll give these girls, by then this queen should be laying pretty good. We should have quite a bit of brood, and that'll give them more space, and it'll give them more bees right away too, with putting that colony in there that has the issue and putting them together. So that's my game plan on these 2 hives. Hopefully this one will be laying and half full of some capped brood, and the other one I'll be able to find a queen, and I'll just keep the 2 colonies together. So, because there's more bees on it and everything. It's full. Yeah. So the big thing is that queen, she should have gone on to the other side by now.
Yeah.
But what we might want to do is actually flip that one over this way, and the next one do the same thing, and we're going to put this one in the same spot that it's supposed to go, but I just want to put it in this way and push it close, so that way we don't accidentally bump the queen. You know what I mean?
Which one has the queen on it?
This one did have the queen on it. I don't know if she's still on this side, but that way it'll give us a little gap. So just grab this one here, and then put it right in, and then push it over towards where the queen was.
They're starting to sound
they're just like, hey, there's my friends or my sisters. They do that. Okay. Then this one goes here.
I'm definitely more relaxed than I used to be.
Yeah.
These.
Doing good.
I haven't gotten used to them yet. I don't know which sounds are them just kind of patrolling and which sounds are them getting angry yet.
Right.
I probably will figure it out.
You'll figure it out. So then after you do that and you get everybody back in place,
Try
I
to
just
squish
take
them together.
and shove it all the way one way. Try not to squish a bee. Sometimes it happens. So you get it all the way one side, and then you bring this side again, push it the other way, and just to even them up. So you have about the same amount of gap on this side as you do that side. And that's it. And now they're like, okay, quit messing with us. So we'll take this, and so not always, but sometimes I'll bang this off just because I don't want to squish them.
Yeah.
So I'll just kind of, well, sometimes do it out here. And then you're clear. And the same thing up here. A lot of times I'll put it on like angled like that and then slide it. So that way if there is a big group of bees, it's the least amount of casualties as possible. Sometimes they're balled right up and you can smoke them and get them out of the way, but let me put the lid on.
I guess the least casualties I've seen must have program on.
Yeah? Okay, well, we might end this video out and then maybe we'll make another one if we get it thinking. So, okay, well that's gonna be it for this video. Got into these two, we just wanted to see what was going on. We've got a queen in this box. We've got queen cells in this box, possibly a laying worker still. We're keeping an eye on it. Ben's just kind of getting reacquainted with the bees and trying to gain some courage and some knowledge and all that stuff. So that's going to be it for this video. Just want to thank you for watching. If you keep watching, that'd be great. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content of us checking out some bees. And I just want to let you know that we love you, God loves you, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a good one and happy beekeeping. All right, come on over. So the good thing is like the entrance is in the front. We want to stay away from the entrance.
I think you should like try to maybe shovel this part like here.
I'll get you a shovel.
Well, no. Sometime. It's
Someday.
not that bad, but
Someday.
it's just kind of switch.
Let's see here. I brought 2 hive tools. I really wish I could find my other one. I gotta order
One
one.
with a nice little hook on
Yeah,
it.
that's the stainless steel one that has the hook on it. That's the one I really like.